Morning, everyone. I'm Laurie Carey, CEO of Nebula Professional Development Academy and innovator for Stellar Learn. And I'm excited to be with you today and share with you a little bit about our platform. Last session, we covered creating a course and with one prompt. And today, I want to talk about the concept of what happens outside of creating a course. Delivering content and training is not just about creating the curriculum. It's really the operational pieces that go behind that. And so part of why this platform was designed and developed was for our own use and our own frustrations with having to have a lot of moving parts, platforms and tools to really create a successful program. And those of you listening can relate to that. If you've ever had to deliver a training program, there's registration, there's follow-up afterwards, there's metrics to see how you performed and how the training went. There's feedback from the students, there's the trainer, instructor, there's maybe pre and post assessments. There's a lot involved in that, right? There's collecting information from the participants, depending on what you're delivering. If you're in the workforce development world and doing things for like maybe the Department of Labor training types of work, then you've got a lot of paperwork and process that you have to collect. If you're doing programs that are involving WIOA funding, Workforce Innovation Act, there's a lot of audit compliance that you have to meet, and that requires a lot of moving parts. And so this platform was designed to support our teams and our organizations and the organizations that we support to do that really more efficiently and better in one platform so that we didn't have to have all these connected moving parts. If you're a small organization and you're trying to do that, it can be overwhelming. And many times organizations are not going after those funding sources because they know that they can't manage that overhead that it requires to do it. So they leave money on the table and they're losing opportunities because of that. So we want to help those organizations really be able to capture that opportunity to help the communities that they're supporting and really be mission focused and not administrative focused. That's really the goal of this session. So I kind of want to set the stage there, and then we're going to dive in. So this is right now I'm logged into the Stellar Learn. If you go to stellarlearn.com, you can see this is the homepage for our platform. This is where you would sign up if you want to, after this call, this is where we're going to direct you, right? So I just want to make sure I bring that up. And then we're going to jump back here, okay? So Stellar Learn is the platform, and it's a B2C platform. And what that means is that it has the ability for you to be a tenant on this platform. So your organization gets signed up, you sign up your organization, and this is what it looks like when you log in. So this is a organization that's already on here. It's Nebula Academy. Their organization is actually a tenant of this platform. And so now Stellar is the brand and Nebula is an organization. Just like any of We Connect the Dots, one of our not-for-profit, is also on the platform. They have their own organization as well. Therefore, they can run their own courses outside of that shell. And so you're signing up from us to be a B2B. And then the B2C is now once you're on the platform, you can actually have people take courses from a business to consumer perspective. And that means that they could be any type of student. It could be paid students because you're selling courses. It could be free students that you're just offering courses. It could be internal staffing. It's really up to you how you use the platform and who your audience is for training. We wanted to design a platform that was really agnostic to that. You wanted to keep your internal staff trained. You want to have webinars or training events that you publish on a storefront. Whatever your needs are, you can do it with this platform. And it's an enterprise platform designed for small businesses to enterprises and really strong components for focusing on the not-for-profit world because of the operational needs that they have around delivering services for their customers. So we're going to jump into this concept of operations flows. And so last time we showed you how to use our AI builder, and this is where we actually created a course from a prompt. And this time what we're going to do is we're going to come in here and we're going to associate the course to an operations flow. We're going to talk about what that means. So you have now content, you want to deliver it, right? So you've got a program that you want to deliver. So we're going to create and go up here and create an operations flow. And we're going to call this one WIOA training. Again, that's Workforce Innovation Act for those who are listening and can relate to that. So now we come in here and we have this flow we can do. Now, when we designed this flow, we thought about our operations, right? And we know that our operations are not necessarily your operations, and every customer has a unique way to manage their operations. And so we wanted to create a platform that allowed them to have that ability to customize how their operations flows work. So you may start from creating your registration form and move forward. You might have your prerequisites, what they have to do, or onboarding requirements. So all of these components are here, and we want to to hear from customers what's missing, because we, again, built this with what we know from 10 years of delivering workforce innovation training. And so this is a design based on our experience and organizations that we work with. So this, again, at the top here, you'll notice that it's got a flow here because I'm going to go through an operations flow. And we can set it up so that we have the tabs here or numbers. It's up to you how you want to visualize it. And what I love about the design here the team has done is they've given you the ability to change the flow for your needs. So for example, if you do operation requirements first, or onboarding requirements first, you can move that in order. You can see all these little toggles here. If you don't do course prerequisites, you can just shut that off. You don't want to see it because that's not what you're dealing with. And maybe you don't have it on some, again, you turn on and turn off what you need so that your staff is only focusing on what they need to do here. Okay. So now once I decide that I'm not going to do any training prerequisites, but I'm going to turn it back on just for demo purposes here. And I'm going to start building my flow. So let's start with the onboarding requirements. When you have a program, you might have onboarding requirements. In the WIOA world, you do. You've got collecting driver's license and all kinds of information. And some of it is to be in a secure environment. So our platform is designed with secure upload and encryption so that you have that and you meet your compliance needs. So now you've got, again, in one place, and you're putting the ownership you're going to see back on the end user, which is really where that needs to be, because administratively, these kind of things that you're dealing with could be really overwhelming. So when you've got your onboarding requirements, what do you have? What kind of things do you need to have that participant who's going to take that program? Do they need to have a contract agreement that they sign? Is there a scholarship attestation? I can never say that word, but that's for military requirements. That's part of a WIOA document that you typically will have to use. Code of conduct, if you're using young adults, we do our hackathon every year with 13 to 18-year-olds in our not-for-profit. That is an important component for that. Here's our upload documents. This is where they would upload documents. You come in here and you can build a requirements piece for this. So I want to show this. Everything in this component is built, has AI components into it. So if I want to describe what I'm needing them to do to fill out this, right? So I might say here, create the ability to upload verification of employee or eligibility. How about that? To work in the US. That's an example. We'll use New York State because we did a lot of work with them. Resident. Okay. And let's see what we get here. So AI basically is now going out and getting out this prompt, and it's going to get us set up here on our documents piece here. So now what it's doing, it's again, this is AI doing it. It's helping you make it more efficient and faster, but you have to review it and make sure this is actually proper, right? So it's basically saying, okay, we're going to do eligibility to work in the United States, New York State residents. We're going to put the requirements in there. We've got 2 documents that we're going to need: a government issued photo ID or work authorization document, and then proof of New York State residency dated within the last 60 days. Again, you can customize this. You can use AI or not use AI, and that's intentional. We didn't want to make it so that everything you're doing in this world requires you to use AI, because some people have their own documents and things that they want to put in here. So it is entirely optional for you to decide how you want to do that. So I can build that out and get it all set. And now I've got that work eligibility as a prerequisite requirement. If I have to do, again, maybe a scholarship agreement, I can come in here and select that. Now I want to show you, I just did the last one with AI, but I could upload a document, upload it as a template so I can use it again and again, or start from scratch and write something right here on the screen. So it's all set up for you to do it any way you need to do. I like using the AI piece because it's fun and it saves me a lot of time. But if you have standardization, what's nice about this is you can use the AI to build it and then save it as a template. And now you can use it for that next time. So again, you've got lots of flexibility to do whatever you need to do. But let's see, we're going to create a contract for a scholarship participant so that they agree with the terms of attendance and how they'll say active participation. All right, we're going to generate that. Now it's coming back. It's got the agreement here. And now we have all this here. Now, again, you would review it, decide whether this makes sense, fields that they might have to fill out for them to complete, right? These are all here with the signature and everything is all set. I can save that requirement. Now I've got the 2. So let's move on. So I've got my prerequisites. Now I have my application form. Okay. So again, same thing. I could go in here and start clicking on my different fields that I want to do like you would traditionally do, or I can use AI. So I'm going to say create a registration form, training. Let's see, let's do workforce development training where participants must be eligible to work in the US and be New York State residents. There we go. So it's got all the pieces in here. I can review these 7 questions that it put in here. I can add more to it. I can try different prompt, totally up to me. Now, once I add them in here, I can move them around. I can adjust them, put them anywhere I want. I can add more pieces from here. It's about saving you that administrative time. That's what our focus is about here. Now, when I finish and I want to review it, I just click on this little preview. It's going to show me what that form is going to look like. This participant is going to fill it out, all the options there and everything, all good to go. And so I've got this nice little previewer. And again, just come down to the bottom here and do continue. Next one. Okay. So we've got the course. The next one is the course prerequisites. And this is typically, we put it here because sometimes you do. Maybe you're doing training courses. Maybe you're doing this for more of a commercial and you're not a not-for-profit and you're selling your courses. You're a small business and you're selling courses and maybe you have a series of courses that somebody's taking. So now that you might have another course that they have to take before this course. And so you could do that. Maybe there's an exam that they have to pass before they take the course. This one that some of the things we're working on or holds any kind of certification where they would have to upload that certification to prove that they have that capability to take the course. Again, I guess the sky's the limit here for us and as far as what you want to put on here. And we're looking for feedback for additional items as well. This one here, the minimum score, RRI score, that's our resilience readiness index. It's part of our enterprise and growth licensing. So that's in here. So if you want to have them take an assessment and look to see what their minimum scores are, you could do that with other assessments as well. So if you're looking for a minimum score in an assessment, because you're going to vet out people in the application process based on that, or some interview requirement that they have to do, you can put that in there for that. Now, course association, this is where you're going to pick the course that you're going to associate it to that you've created. So we're going to pick this leadership in schools, K-12 course that we created here as an example. Now, let's talk about once we've selected the course, what's the review process? Now, everybody, again, has different review processes for different programs. You might have a manual approval where somebody's going to actually interview that person and select them, whether or not they're selected or not. That you could do the manual approval in here. That's going to create a whole approval process for the person who's going to be selecting the candidates. And you're going to see that we'll have a pipeline here of registered, the whole piece is here. So manual approval, auto accept on completion, that's they fill out their registration form and they're in. And then the last one we have here that's coming is the ability to have a panel review where you can have multiple people coming in and selecting like an interview process. So if you were going to select somebody, you want to have multiple people coming in and making that decision or voting on that. And that's coming soon. So now we're going to go ahead and select the accept and complete there upon completion. So now we're on our timeline alerts. So now you think about, this is now where you're handing it off to the entity. So once this is all built and somebody registers, what happens next? This is where you've got the ability to have a participant submit things. And then, the administrative overhead that happens when people don't submit their paperwork or they don't send reminders out, all of that has to be automated because otherwise your staff is consumed by that, right? And it can be overwhelming. And it could be sometimes a full-time job of somebody doing that work. And so imagine what if you can be letting the administrative work be done by the system so that your team can be more mission focused on the participants. That's where you want to spend your time and energy, not on this stuff, right? So now we can do that. So we can say they get reminders every 10 days before the program, 7 days, 5 days, 3 days, whatever you want to put here. And you'll see on the side here, it's going to show you the alerts that's going to happen here. You can notify admin of overdue candidates so that you get a notification and you can have it auto decline after so many days because they didn't submit the requirements for the paperwork. That's totally an option. You don't have to do that. You can turn that off so that if there's not an auto decline, but if you need to do that, that's there as well. Now, finally, we're done with all the administrative flow, and now we're ready to get this course out there published. That's the next part. So now what you're doing is you're basically going to publish and share this. Now, you have a couple of choices here. You can do this on your website. You can embed it here with the code, and that'll put an embedded form on your website, or you can have it be a public URL that you can use. I'm going to show you one that's already done on an existing system so you can see what it looks like on our platform. So we're going to go to our programs where we connect the dots. And we're going to show our upcoming hackathon because this one is actually using this form. And I click on register now, and there's my form. Okay, so I can put and it's got my required fields in here. I can select my language. I can put all my address and information in there. And again, whatever's required is going to show up here. This has got a drop down for grade, again, parent signature, parent last name. And we have forms associated to this too that automatically trigger to the parents as well, because we're collecting the parents' information in this form. Again, all these options are here in the form. And so you can select this form and then go ahead and agree to that and submit it. And now you've got a whole flow going. So let's talk about what happens after the registration and what that flow looks like. Okay, so now we're going to go here to publish and share. And we're going to copy this link and we're going to put this on here. So let's look at a real application that has some information that you can see where you can see the pipeline. Once you've published your flow, you now have this concept of going back and opening it and reviewing it or looking at the pipeline. And this pipeline is really the fun part, I think, for administrators and really seeing what's going on here. So now I can come into that pipeline and now I can see who's applied to the program, who's in the onboarding stage, right? And then who's got accepted or declined. So this is a great visual for your team to be able to see where people are in that process that you just created. So you create a course on the platform and build out your onboarding or operations flow, and you decide what you need for all the moving parts for your system to be able to get people registered. You now have all that information being collected. And we haven't even showed the reporting aspects of this from a course perspective, and that's going to be on another session. So today's goal was to really show you how once you have a course created and you want to go through that operations piece of really getting the students in and all the requirements for the course set up here, and then being able to see from an administrative overhead here and who's applied, where are they at in the application process, and who's accepted or declined in here. This is your pipelines that you now have a view for. So hopefully this was beneficial and you're intrigued by what you're seeing and that you want to learn more. We want you to reach out to us at stellarlearn.com. Feel free to go in and try out the platform. You can come in here to the platform and you go to stellarlearn.com. You'll see here, and to get logged in, you simply go over to the pricing page and you'll see the pricing here. We're transparent about everything in the cost model and how this all works and the AI credit bundles for the platform. You simply click on the Get Started Free, and you're going to fill out your information on here and you'll get logged into the platform. No cost. You'll get a certain number of AI. I think it's 200 credits in here for AI where you can start to use the platform and play a little bit. You're going to have some restrictions in some of the platform capabilities because obviously we're opening up an expensive tool that allows you to do a lot of work capabilities here for no cost. And we want to make sure that you can see and feel the product before you make the decision that this is worthwhile for you. So if you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to our team. We're excited to see what you think of the platform and get your feedback. You can use inside the platform. There's also a way to give us feedback in here directly by going to the support option here and actually giving us feedback and giving us new ideas for the platform. So please take advantage of this piece of the platform as well, because we do want to hear more. This is MVP for those listening. This is the first iteration of this platform. And so you can imagine we haven't even touched on a lot of the other capabilities in here, and that we want to keep sharing these in these small sessions to get you learning more about how the platform can support you and being more mission focused if you're a not-for-profit, and if you're a business and doing training to be more profitable because your overhead is managed and you've got your resource aligned better and you're really using the value of AI in a powerful way. So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next session.